Chapter 44-42. 3 years was enough for Wang Luoyu to come up with many new ideas. 3 years ago, the first thing she wanted to do was follow her elder brother Duan's dying wish and leave the Wang clan with her elder brother Duan. From then on, she would no longer be a marriage tool for the Wang clan. Now that she had been in the Wang clan for 3 years, she had been treated extremely well by the Wang clan. Even the clan leader of the Wang clan, Wang Kui, was extremely courteous when he saw her. She was even fortunate enough to meet one of the Wang clan's supreme elders. The supreme elders even told her that she could look for him directly if she needed help. The change in the Wang clan's attitude towards her was like heaven and earth. Now, she was like a high and mighty princess in the Wang clan. She was sought after by everyone. No matter where she went, she was like the moon surrounded by stars. It should be known that even when her elder brother Wang Yiyuan was still alive, she had never received such treatment. Of course, Wang Luoyu knew very well that the reason she was able to receive such treatment was all because of her elder brother Duan. Of course, in the eyes of the Wang clan, he was not Duan Lingtian, but Li Feng. Recently, she had thought more than once about how great it would be if her elder brother Duan was not Duan Lingtian but Li Feng, her husband. Moreover, under the influence of the people around her, and when she thought about how considerate and responsible her elder brother Duan was, she had unknowingly developed a favorable impression of him. Perhaps, even if she was asked to marry him now, she would not reject it. Big brother Duan is really outstanding. It's no wonder that even a woman like Big Sister Rose who has high standards would favor him so much. Wang Luoyu sighed inwardly. She knew very well how high her good sister's standards were. In the entire Sky-Sen territory, there was no young talent of the same generation that she liked. Of course, she also knew that such an outstanding man did not belong to her sister Rose, and it was impossible for him to belong to her. I can't believe. 3 years have passed in the blink of an eye. 3 years was not a long time for Duan Lingtian, and it passed in the blink of an eye. Moreover, he had spent the past 3 years with Situlei, the inherited heaven sword. While he demonstrated the sword Dao to Situlei also tried his best to help him comprehend the law of time and the law of space. Although Situlei was not proficient in these two laws, he had lived for a long time and was very knowledgeable. Moreover, he had many floating mirror image that he had fought with people who were proficient in these two laws. Among those scryer images, there were even scryer images of invincible high-level ultimate gods fighting. Not to mention the scryer image of an invincible upper-level supreme god who was proficient in the law of time and the law of space. Even the scryer image of an invincible upper-level supreme god who was proficient in other ordinary laws was extremely precious in the outer realm, or even the myriad worlds. More than 90% of invincible higher-level supreme gods were existences who had comprehended and mastered the laws of nature to the realm of perfection. Such an existence could be said to have walked to the end of the law he was proficient in and comprehended to the pinnacle. The laws displayed in the scryer recordings of such existences could be said to be flawless. One could imagine how precious it was. And Duan Lingtian had obtained such a scryer image from Situlei. It should be known that this kind of scryer image, because of its preciousness, was often recorded with restrictions on it, and there was no way to forcibly copy it. And Situlei had given this scryer image to Duan Lingtian. To the current Duan Lingtian, the value of this scryer image was actually not inferior to the godhead of an ultimate god in the law of space. In fact, it might even be of greater help to him. Therefore, even though Situlei's attainments in the sword Dao had not been small in the past 3 years, Duan Lingtian still felt that he had gained a great advantage. Perhaps, the improvement he had obtained in the law of space was not as good as Situlei's gains in the sword Dao, but that might not be the case in the future. Little friendly Feng, after parting today, I don't know when we'll meet again. There should be some things in this storage ring that you can use. Even if you can't use them, it shouldn't be difficult to exchange them for something you can use. Before parting, Situlei handed Duan Lingtian a storage ring. In these 3 years, thanks to little friendly Feng's magnanimity, my progress in the sword Dao has been rapid. Perhaps it won't be long before there will be no one who can match me in the heavenly sands realm. As he spoke, Situle's eyes were filled with yearning. Currently, although he was considered one of the strongest ultimate gods in the heavenly sands realm, he was only one of the strongest ultimate gods. There were still a few people who could compete with him. And if his sword Tao improved further, there was hope for him to surpass those few people. And this was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that the increase in his strength also meant that it would be much easier for him to resist the next 10,000 years of heavenly tribulation. Resisting the 10,000 years of heavenly tribulation became easier, which also meant that he could live for a period of time. This was the most important thing. Because of this, he felt that he owed Duan Lingtian a great favor. Even if he had given Duan Lingtian a scryer recording of a battle between two ultimate gods who had comprehended the laws of space to perfection, he still felt that it was far from enough. In his eyes, there was nothing more important than his own life. Whether it was that scryer recording or the storage ring in his hands, they were all just worldly possessions. Once he died, no matter how good his worldly possessions were, he would not be able to enjoy them. Senior Situ, that scryer recording of yours is enough to repay my favor. Duan Lingtian did not take the storage ring that Situle handed over. Even though he knew that there were definitely many things he needed in this storage ring, as he said, he felt that the scryer recording given by Situle was enough to repay the favor of sharing his understanding of the sword Tao. At first, Situle was still insisting, but when he saw Duan Lingtian's determination, he did not continue to force Duan Lingtian. However, at this time, there was a slight change in the way he looked at Duan Lingtian. Little friendly foam, it's fine if you don't accept this storage ring. However, I will give little friendly foam another thing. This thing, little friendly foam, you must accept it. This thing, to little friendly foam, may never be of use. However, once it is of use, to little friendly foam, it may be a life-saving item. As Situle spoke, he had already raised his hand and took out an ordinary-looking jade piece. However, when a light flashed between his eyebrows, there was another drop of golden blood, surrounded by obscure golden translucent symbols, that shot out and merged into the jade piece in his hand. Suddenly, the golden light on the jade piece soared and disappeared after a while. At the same time, the jade piece returned to its original appearance. The only difference was that there was an additional mark of golden blood on the jade piece. At the same time, the jade piece no longer gave off an ordinary feeling. It emitted an extremely terrifying aura. This aura gave people the feeling that there was an ancient ferocious beast sealed within it. Once it erupted, it could break mountains and even destroy the heavens and earth. Supreme Powerhouse Spiritual Blood Essence. Just as Duan Lingtian was stunned by the scene in front of him, a cry of surprise rang in his ears. This voice belonged to one of the 5 divine elements in Duan Lingtian's little world, the world-cleansing divine water. Supreme Powerhouse Spiritual Blood Essence? Duan Lingtian was puzzled. This was the first time he had heard of this term. He knew what blood essence was, but what was this spiritual blood essence? Chapter 44-43. This was Duan Lingtian's first time hearing about the spiritual blood essence. For this reason, he had no idea what it was. However, when he heard the world-cleansing divine water's exclamation, he realized the spiritual blood essence was not an ordinary item. Of course, just by listening to the words of Situle, the inherited heaven sword, it was enough to show that the essence blood was not an ordinary thing. After all, Situle had said it could save his life at a critical moment. The spiritual blood essence is the blood essence of a supreme powerhouse. You know what a normal blood essence is. It's very precious to humans and other living beings. As for the spiritual colored blood essence, it is specially refined from the blood essence of an ultimate expert. Although the difficulty of refining it is not very high, and it does not affect one's cultivation, it still requires a very long time. The world-cleansing divine water's voice rang in Duan Lingtian's ears again. It's said that it takes a supreme powerhouse more than 10,000 years to refine a drop of spiritual blood essence. More than 10,000 years? Duan Lingtian was shocked when he heard the world-cleansing divine water's words. Although supreme powerhouses were powerful and lived for a long time, they could easily live for hundreds of thousands of years or even hundreds of thousands of years. However, even a supreme powerhouse who had lived for hundreds of thousands of years could only refine a few dozen drops of spiritual blood essence in his lifetime. However, Situlay, the heaven-cleansing divine sword, had given him a drop of spiritual blood essence. Sister Water, what's the use of this spiritual blood essence? Duan Lingtian could not help but ask. Earlier, Situlay, the heaven-cleansing divine sword, had clearly said the spiritual blood essence could save his life at a critical moment. Although Duan Lingtian was reluctant to accept it, he could not help but feel a little moved. At most, he would owe Situlay a favor and repay him in the future. Currently, Duan Lingtian might not have any use for him, but if he became an invincible higher godly venerable one day, Duan Lingtian might need his help. When the time came, he would return the favor. As Duan Lingtian waited expectantly, the world-cleansing divine water said, "You can summon the Supreme Powerhouse's spirit blood essence after you use your divine energy and the law of space to evaporate it. You can use the spirit blood essence as a portal for the Supreme Powerhouse. It can allow the Supreme Powerhouse to appear at the scene directly." Upon hearing the world-cleansing divine water's words, Duan Lingtian's eyes narrowed, and his breathing quickened. What does this mean? This meant that he could call out a powerhouse at any time. Moreover, he wasn't the weakest among the strongest. Of course, there are also restrictions. The world-cleansing divine water continued to say, "If you accept his blood essence, you'll be able to summon him anywhere in the outer world. However, he won't be able to appear in the secret realms where supreme experts can't enter. In addition, there's no way to make him appear in any of the realms. Unless he's in the same realm as you." Upon hearing the world-cleansing divine water's words, Duan Lingtian could not help but ask, "Sister Water, do you mean I can summon Senior Situlay to help me as long as it's not a place where supreme powerhouses can't enter?" "Yes," the world-cleansing divine water replied. Duan Lingtian, on the other hand, did not reject Situlay's gift of the inherited heaven sword after he found out what the soul-bearing blood essence meant. "Senior." Duan Lingtian's expression was solemn as he said, "The soul force blood essence you gave me is indeed a life-saving treasure. So I won't refuse. However, if I don't need your help, I'll return it to you when I no longer need your help. And before that, if I use this spirit essence blood and ask for Senior's help, then I will owe Senior another favor." When he spoke up to this point, Duan Lingtian saw Situlay seemed to want to say something, so he spoke first. "Senior, you can take this as a condition for me to accept your spiritualist blood essence. If you're not willing to do this, I really don't dare to accept your spirit blood essence." Duan Lingtian's persistence caused Situlay to not say anything more, but the gaze he looked at Duan Lingtian with was filled with even more praise. "Little friendly foam, your innate talent is outstanding. After today's farewell, I believe your strength will definitely improve the next time we meet. However, I still advise you not to rush to become an ultimate powerhouse if you have the chance to become an invincible higher ultimate god. If you become an ultimate god, your strength will be improved by leaps and bounds. However, if you don't comprehend the law to the perfection realm before that, it'll be difficult to comprehend the law to the perfection realm after becoming an ultimate god. At least, in the history of the outer realm and even the myriad worlds, I've never heard of anyone who only comprehended the law to the perfection realm after stepping into the ultimate god realm. In the outer realm and the 10,000 worlds, as long as an ultimate master becomes an ultimate master, they'll be considered a world master. Even if they're not, they're close. Their strength is not comparable to an ordinary ultimate god. Even if it's me, I'm far from an ultimate god who becomes an ultimate god." Situlay paused for a moment before continuing. "Of course, once you become an ultimate god, it'll be more difficult to become an ultimate god. This is also a publicly acknowledged fact. I don't know why it's difficult. After all, I'm not an invincible higher ultimate god before I become an ultimate god. However, since everyone says it's difficult, it should be very difficult. I've lived for more than 200,000 years. In these 200,000 years, I know many invincible higher ultimate gods who didn't become ultimate gods until they fell under the 1,000-year heavenly tribulation. As for those people, before they became unrivaled high-level supreme gods, they were all people who could have become extremely strong experts, but they didn't. If you don't become an invincible higher ultimate god, it's easy to become an ultimate god. However, once you become an invincible higher ultimate god, it'll be extremely difficult to become an ultimate god. In the 200,000 years I've lived, the number of people I know who successfully became an ultimate god from an invincible higher ultimate god can be counted on one hand. You should be able to understand what I'm saying, right? If it were an ordinary person, I'd definitely advise him to become an ultimate god directly so that he can live longer. Once he becomes an invincible higher ultimate god, he may not have the chance to become an ultimate god in the future. However, you're different. You've achieved this before you're even 10,000 years old. I think if you become an invincible higher ultimate god, it should be easier for you to become an ultimate god than most invincible higher ultimate gods. It had to be said that this was the first time Duan Lingtian had heard Situle's words. Was it difficult for an invincible higher ultimate god to become an ultimate god? However, it was easy for these invincible higher ultimate gods to become ultimate gods before they became invincible higher ultimate gods. Perhaps, this is another reason why there are so few invincible higher ultimate gods. Not every higher ultimate god wants to become an invincible higher ultimate god. If they can become an ultimate god, they'll directly choose to become an ultimate god so that they can live longer. Once they become an invincible higher ultimate god but can't become an ultimate god, these people will definitely not live as long as the former. After all, before becoming an ultimate god, the heavenly tribulation comes once every 1,000 years. After becoming an ultimate god, the heavenly tribulation comes once every 10,000 years. It had to be said that after learning this from Situle, Duan Lingtian's heart, which originally wanted to chase after an invincible higher ultimate god, was slightly shaken. With his attainments in sword principle, even if his power of law did not reach the perfection stage, after becoming an ultimate god and consolidating his strength might not be weaker than Situle. He might even be stronger. Once he chased after an invincible higher ultimate god, he might not be able to become an ultimate god. However, once he became an ultimate god with the body of an invincible higher ultimate god, he could directly become a universe master. It was said that there were only a few dozen ultimate gods in the 10,000 worlds and the outer realm who were universe masters. This showed how difficult it was to become a universe master. Forget it. Senior Situle is right. I'm not even 10,000 years old, and I already have such strength. If I really become an invincible higher ultimate god, I might have a chance to become an ultimate god. For me, the most important thing now is to save Kerr. Being an invincible higher ultimate god is more than enough to save Kerr. As long as he became an invincible higher ultimate god, he could choose to serve under a universe master. This way, he could ask a universe master to help his wife, Kerr, get rid of the soul shackles that Yun Qing Yen had placed on her. If he directly became an ultimate god, he might not be able to get rid of the soul shackles that Yun Qing Yen had placed on Kerr. He might not even be able to ask a universe master to help him. In the eyes of a universe master, an ordinary ultimate god was not worth as much as an invincible higher ultimate god. This was because they could do what an ordinary ultimate god could do, but they might not be able to do what an invincible higher ultimate god could do. As he thought of this, Duan Lingtian hesitated for a while before looking at Situle and asking, "Senior, do you know about the Ghost Clan?" "Ghost Clan?" Situle was stunned for a moment before he nodded. "I've heard of this clan. It seems to be a clan from one of the realms in the myriad worlds. This clan specializes in the soul shackles way." Based on Situle's reaction, it was obvious that his understanding of the Ghost Clan was based on hearsay. "Senior, it's said that there are ultimate gods in the Ghost Clan as well. Generally, soul shackles that are placed by the Ghost Clan can be easily removed by someone with a higher cultivation base. If it's a soul shackles placed by an ultimate god in the Ghost Clan, ordinary ultimate gods won't be able to remove it. However, if it's a universe master, will they be able to remove it? After he finished asking, Duan Lingtian looked at Situlei with a gaze that was filled with anticipation. He urgently needed to know this. Chapter 44-44. Normally, it should be possible. After listening to Duan Lingtian's words, Situlei pondered for a moment before he said loudly, although universe venerables are also called supreme powerhouses like us, the strength of a universe venerables is a qualitative transformation compared to other supreme powerhouses. The power of a universe master is quite different from that of an ordinary ultimate master. That's right. In terms of the level of the soul, it should also be quite different. The reason why Situlei said, probably, was because he had never come into contact with a universe master before. His understanding of universe masters was based on hearsay. Of course, these are all my speculations. After all, I am not capable of coming into contact with a universe master yet. Speaking of this, Situlei looked at Duan Lingtian again and said, however, I speculate that if a universe master were to break the soul imprisonment of an ordinary supremacy from the Nightmare Soul clan, it should not be a problem. Moreover, even if an ordinary universe master is unable to break the soul imprisonment, a universe master who is skilled in the way of the soul should be able to do it. If what Situlei said was true, Duan Lingtian only felt a little hope. However, the last sentence made Duan Lingtian's eyes light up. A universe master who was skilled in the way of the soul. That was right. A universe master might not be able to save Kerr, but a universe master who was skilled in the way of the soul would definitely be able to do it. My friendly Foam, why are you suddenly asking this? Has someone around you been imprisoned by the Nightmare Soul clan? Even the Supremes behind you can't break the soul imprisonment? Situlei asked doubtfully. At this moment, he could also see Duan Lingtian's excitement. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. Then, he thought of the ancestor of the Xia clan in the world of divine remains who couldn't do anything about Kerr's soul imprisonment. He let out a long sigh and said, ordinary experts can't do anything. Situlei was not surprised by Duan Lingtian's words. After all, it was impossible for an ordinary supreme powerhouse to break free from the soul shackles cast by a supreme powerhouse from the Spectre clan. Of course, at this moment, Situlei also confirmed one thing, that was, there was no universe master behind the young man named Li Feng. He couldn't help but feel a little shocked by this. This was because when he first found out that the other party had such achievements before the age of 10,000, he subconsciously guessed that there should be a universe master behind the other party. In his opinion, only a universe master could possibly cultivate such a monstrous genius in such a short period of time. Now, when he realized that there was no universe master behind the person in front of him, he couldn't help but feel inexplicably shocked. Without the help of a universe master, one could imagine how difficult it was to get to this point. This little friendly Foam, as long as he can grow up smoothly in the future, he will definitely be a famous figure in the Outer Realm and even the 10,000 world. Situlei thought to himself. After asking Situlei about the Nightmare Soul clan, Duan Lingtian didn't chat with him anymore. After bidding farewell to Situlei, he flew toward the residence that the Wang clan had arranged for him. Wang Luoyu was still there. Situlei was also preparing to leave the Wang clan. Before they parted, he said that he would go and say goodbye to the Wang clan leader before leaving. He also asked Duan Lingtian to let the Wang clan leader, Wang Kui, look for him if he needed anything in the future. As long as it was within his power, he would not refuse. Obviously, in these 3 years, Situlei had benefited a lot from Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian was extremely clear in his heart that after this parting, it would probably be difficult for him to meet Situlei again in the future. Even if there really was a chance, it would most likely be when he used up the spirit accumulation blood essence that Situlei gave him. Once he used up the spiritual blood essence, he would owe Situlei a big favor and would probably take the initiative to look for him in the future. Elder brother Duan. Wang Luoyu had waited 3 whole years for Duan Lingtian to return. Sorry to keep you waiting. Duan Lingtian smiled. Get ready. We will leave tomorrow. Duan Lingtian did not intend to stay in the Wang clan for long. The sooner he sent Wang Luoyu away, the sooner he would fulfill his promise to Wang Yiyuan. Elder brother Duan. At this moment, Wang Luoyu was somewhat hesitant to speak. Only after a while did she muster up the courage to say, "With your current status in the Wang family, even if you leave alone, the Wang family will definitely not allow me to remarry." Duan Lingtian was stunned when he heard Wang Luoyu's words. Then, he thought about it and understood. In these 3 years, he had contributed to the Wang clan and further strengthened the relationship between the Wang clan and the inherited heaven sword, Situlei. Under such circumstances, how could the Wang clan treat Wang Luoyu unfairly? After all, in the eyes of the Wang clan, Wang Luoyu was Li Feng's wife. That's right. Duan Lingtian nodded. If he was not sure if the Wang clan's attitude toward Wang Luoyu would change after he left. Now, he was certain that the Wang clan's attitude toward Wang Luoyu would not change because of his departure. Firstly, the Wang clan was indebted to him for sharing sword Dao with Situlei. Secondly, the Wang family would also consider his potential and the powerful forces outside the heavenly sand realm that might be behind him. Therefore, even if he left the Wang clan for thousands of years, the Wang clan would definitely not treat Wang Luoyu unfairly. Have you thought it through? Duan Lingtian asked Wang Luoyu again. Yes. Wang Luoyu nodded. The Wang clan is where I grew up. I've never been to any place other than Lanshao City. If I can stay, I don't want to leave. Elder brother Duan, my brother Wang Yiyuan asked you to take me away because he didn't want my fate to be manipulated by the Wang clan. Now, because of you, the Wang clan can no longer manipulate my fate. At the very least, I don't have to worry about the Wang clan manipulating me before I die in the heavenly tribulation. So, even if you don't take me away, you've fulfilled your promise to my brother. All of this is my own choice. After Wang Luoyu finished speaking, Duan Lingtian pondered for a moment before he spoke again. There's a problem that you have to consider. If you continue to stay in the Wang clan, it'll be difficult for you to find another marriage in the future. If you take the initiative to seek one, I'm afraid the Wang clan won't allow it. Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Wang Luoyu smiled sweetly. Elder brother Duan, I don't plan to seek any marriage in this life. It's quite good to be alone. Duan Lingtian sighed when he heard this. Think about it again. I'll give you 3 days. After 3 days, either you leave with me, or I leave on my own. I think your brother Wang Yiyuan definitely wants you to find your own happiness in the future. If you can't stay in the Wang clan, you'll regain the right to pursue your own happiness after leaving the Wang clan. If Wang Luoyu stayed in the Wang clan, she would definitely be branded as Li Feng's wife. The Wang clan would not allow outsiders to taint the wife of their son-in-law, Li Feng. To them, the powerful background behind Li Feng might be somewhat illusory. However, the relationship between Li Feng and the inherited heaven sword, Situlei, was very real. No one can understand Situlei's gratitude better than the Wang family. Seeing Duan Lingtian turn and leave, leaving her alone in the empty room, Wang Luoyu heaved a long sigh. Elder brother Duan, after meeting you, I realized that there's such a perfect young talent in the world. With you as a comparison, I'm afraid it'll be impossible for me to find someone I like in this life. If that's the case, I might as well spend the rest of my life alone. Of course, Duan Lingtian could not hear Wang Luoyu's words. 3 days later, Duan Lingtian left the Wang clan alone. At the entrance of the Wang clan's patriarch, Wang Ke, the Wang clan's supreme elder, Wang Jingrao, and Wang Luoyu sent Duan Lingtian off. Clan leader, Grand Elder. I have urgent matters to attend to and need to leave for a while. Please take care of Luoyu. Even though he knew that Wang Kui and Wang Jingrao would look for Wang Luoyu even if he did not say anything, Duan Lingtian still specifically instructed them. Don't worry, brother Li Feng. Wang Kui laughed heartily. Later, I'll announce to the entire Wang clan and the outside world that I, Wang Kui, recognize Luoyu as my sister, and Grand Elder will also recognize Luoyu as his goddaughter. From now on, she'll be the princess of the Wang clan. Wang Jingrao smiled and nodded. Don't worry. I promise you, as long as the Wang clan is not destroyed, Luoyu will not lose a single hair. Duan. Brother Feng. As for Wang Luoyu, she immediately changed her words. 2 streams of tears fell from her eyes, and her face was filled with reluctance. Although they were not husband and wife, she could not help but feel sad and reluctant when she thought about how she was treated in the Wang clan because of this person in front of her. I'll be back as soon as possible. Duan Lingtian smiled lightly before bidding farewell to Wang Kui and Wang Jingrao. Then, he flew away with the wind, leaving the Wang clan and Lanshao city as well. The 3 members of the Wang clan only regained their senses after Duan Lingtian's figure disappeared from their sight. The moment Duan Lingtian left Lan Xiaoqing. In a corner of Lan Xiaoqing, a figure also rose into the air and followed from afar. Based on the current situation, there shouldn't be any strong people hiding around Li Feng to protect him in the dark. Unless it's a strong person hiding in the dark, which is why I can't discover him. Let's follow him and take a look. The person who followed Duan Lingtian from afar was completely covered in a loose black robe, and it was impossible to see his appearance and figure clearly. However, as his figure moved, it was as if a green saber light flashed. In the blink of an eye, his saber had traveled thousands of miles, sweeping across the land. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.